Vincenzo'S Gold Crypto Investing this August 23rd, 2025. And major news has happened today. You can see the gold market's up 2 to 3%. The bullion market is approaching highs. B2 gold did hit $4 for the first time in a couple of years. That's a huge milestone. We're on our way up to be up 100% in B2 gold. Kinross gold is nearly hitting $20 a share. We're up, closing in on 300 or 3x 300%. First Majestic Silver, we have 1,000 shares in that. We're up almost 50% on the position right now, and it's making a run towards $10. And I think it's going to hit that very quickly, as silver is going to make a run towards $50 for the spot price of the bullion. Fortuna Silver, we're almost 900 shares of this. It's approaching $8 a share, getting close to its all-time high, only about 20% from it. First Majestic is still like 70% from its all-time high, which is closer to $25 or $24. Fortuna is up at about 11, and both of those will hit and cross their all-time highs. Just like Kinross now is only about $11 away, $12 away at $32 from its all-time high. And Kinross used to be sitting at $2.50. We have an average price at $5.22, and now it's sitting there and haven't sold anything at $19 and change. And if we keep scrolling to list, Rivian, we have 330 shares of that. We're currently almost even on the position. This is the only position we're down. Pan America Silver, we're up, closing in on 75% on that position. But I believe Rivian one day will be back at 50, and we'll be up a couple of X's on that. Barrick Gold, we have a pretty good size position. The account portfolio is up about, I think it said 35, or no, almost 50% now. At $26, as we have about 240 shares of this. Hecla Mining, we don't have a big position in that, but we're up 20-something%, and that's probably going to $10 next. And it's very exciting. And also the cryptocurrency market. And this is why we have our, this is why here at Vincenzo'S Gold Crypto Investing, we're all about strategic, becoming asset millionaires, between gold and silver, bullion, and mining stocks, cryptocurrencies, 401k study, investing, real estate, cash on the side to for emergencies like a car repair, house repair, health emergencies, peace of mind, earning 3 to 5% in short-term CDs or bonds, but more importantly, to buy a new asset when the time is right, or accumulating into an existing asset when that time presents itself, right? So that's the key reasons to do that, and that's how we're becoming an asset millionaire. And that's why you're here. And you can see Bitcoin's up 4%, Ethereum's up 10%, XLM's up 6%. And the reason the cryptocurrencies are going off the sphere today is because the dollar's down almost 1%. We know and we understand, and that's why you're becoming Jabroni Killer members. And that's why you're going to, as your Jabroni Killer members, for $3.99 a month. It's as cheap as that to help support this channel and get this message out and get the education for you, as we buy asset appreciating things in a dollar depreciating world. And that's what we're in. And it's going to be an assault. And the current President Trump, has former presidents have, he wants an assault on the dollar. He wants the short-term interest rate, which is what the Federal Reserve controls when they talk. It's currently sitting at 4.25%, I believe, right now, 4 to 4.25%. Trump wants it, and he's made no bones about it. He wants it down to 1.25% at least, and immediately. And they're going to start lowering rates, whether they do it in September, and that's the recent Bitcoin pump, gold pump, and the dollar tank today, because he got more bullish on lowering rates next month. He probably won't. They'll probably wait till next year, so you'll have a sell-off after this. But when they do finally cave and they do tank, because they're on a chronic, they're willing, and they are, the government, the president, the Senate, the House, the Federal Reserve, the FDIC, all of them, they are willing, and they are sacrificing the dollar, and they have been, but now they are accelerating it, and that is going to pump gold and silver. Gold will be at $5,000. Silver will be at $50. Bitcoin's probably going to be at $200,000. Ethereum will hit its $10,000 target, right? And you can see U.S. stocks rally keeps accelerating post-Fed Powell remarks, 1% up, heads up. Cleveland Fed question and answer during Fed Powell Jackson Hole remark curve steepens. U.S. 30-year drop to now 4.9 from 4.933. In wake of Fed Powell Jackson Hole remarks, now ended CME Fed Watch tool set probability of September rate cut. Let's see what that is. Now 89.4%. So it's an overwhelming majority now are building into their positions right now and leading into next month that they're expecting a rate cut next month. The market is expecting as a whole a rate cut, and they're currently building in their positions to account for that rate cut, right? So if we don't get a rate cut next month, there will be a big drop in crypto, a drop in gold and silver, and a drop in the stock market because they're building in right now that the rates will be cut, and at least a quarter basis point, right? And I believe next year they're going to have an all-out assault. Next year is going to be the assault on the U.S. dollar, and because of that, the Bitcoin price is going to skyrocket. The altcoins are going to have altcoin season 3.0, and that's why I've dubbed 2027 as the year of AMP and DGB, because I believe across the board there's going to be huge winners, especially the Bitcoin, the Ethereums. You can see the Bitcoin target is 155,000 because you're in this rising channel. For any reason, if it breaks the rising channel, you have your moving average, which is now on the 3.5-year channel support, right where you can see the wick bounce just above it under this ferocious rally that we're currently on right now, right? And you can see that would be your lower support, and it's uptrending. So at the current time frame, and let's go to the daily time frame, it's sitting here at about 110,000, right? But we're far away from that. We're sitting currently at 116,000, and we're trying to make a run at the previous all-time high at 124,000. So we'll see this week and then this weekend if this current pump today can hold and we continue up, or if we consolidate back closer to the 50-day moving average. But in the long term, with the interest rates, like I've been telling you, the corporate ETFs are trying to buy out all the Bitcoin before all this happens, and they're currently on a massive roll between companies on the stock market, Fortune 5 companies, Fortune 100 companies, Fortune 500 companies. They're turning into Bitcoin treasuries or Ethereum treasuries to buy up all the physical Bitcoin so you cannot have custodial ownership of it. And that's what they're doing, and they're going to continue to do it. And you can see, looking at some of the things that we're talking about there in the news that I seen scanning this morning, it was a vast majority. Shoplift approves 1.5 billion buyback as it leans on Ethereum holding, so they're going to buy another 1.5 billion. A crypto investor lost 783. Nobody cares. There was an article this morning that I seen that out of the big drop that just happened, the ETFs bought up all the Bitcoin that was sold. Bitcoin whales wake after several years, rotate holdings of 270 million worth of ETH. So that could be a possible sale coming from a long-term holder that'll be selling into the corporate hands, and then the ETFs are going to buy it. This trader turned 6.8K into 1.5 million using high risk strategy. I wouldn't recommend that. I'm not going to be able to find this. Shiba Inu, don't care. This was it's because there's so much news that flies out. I must have read it last night. Bitcoin OG dumped 76 million BTC after 7 years of holding. So he's going to take that massive profit. Congratulations. But all those Bitcoin or those assets will be bought up by the ETFs. Ming Xing stock surges after 483 million Bitcoin purchase. I'll find that article. I'll talk about it later. I got to get more on to the to what we were talking about, the price. I'll find that article today, and then we'll talk about it later, because it was very interesting that the recent dump before today's pump, it was all bought up by ETFs, all the Bitcoin and Ethereum. You can see now that bounce off that we thought we would have off the 4,059 that we talked about a week ago is now, it did happen, and now we're just below the regional high. And if you break that regional high, you will push past the $4,833, and then you're going to be on your way towards that $10,900 megaphone target. So this weekend, what you want to watch is, does this recent pump hold? And you need to break this old high here, breach the all-time high, and sit on top of that. If not, you would come retest to 4,059 underneath major support. The XLM, you can see we bounced off of where we were at yesterday and what we were talking about, and you can see it's been a ferocious rally, and it did create what we were talking about, that higher low from back here in August. We were there at 36 cents, so this did create a local regional higher low, and that creates some short-term momentum, and now like we drew there, we're going to try to make a run up at this 43 cents, and now that's what we need to do this weekend. We need to break that 43 cents and hold it, and then we would be extremely bullish again. But until then, we're just running up to a retest of the 43 cents. For any reason, if this falls back down from the 43 cents or from where it's at now, it would come down to the 50-day moving average, and that would be your major underneath support. The XRP, the same thing. We had that ferocious rally creating a similar higher low from back here in August 25th. It was sitting down here, or August the 2nd, it was sitting down here at 273, and this low came to about 280 or just below that, and now we're sitting just below the 307, and that's what we need to get above. And if you forcefully break above that 307, that is when you get extremely bullish again, and you can make a run at this regional top of 366. And that's what we're going to watch out today and this weekend as you interact with this 307 major upper resistance. Can you get above it? If you can get above it, you're extremely bullish, just like I extremely bullishly took that out. You get above it like that and hold it, extremely bullish. Fireworks are going off. Maybe we're going to set a new all-time high, or at least challenge the 366 from back a couple of months ago, right? Or a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a month ago now. If for any reason you fall down to 294 and just above the 200-day moving average would be the 273 is your major underneath support for any kind of fall down this weekend. But right now, everything's extremely bullish. The market's extremely bullish because they're going to assault the dollar. The run on the dollar is on. They're sacrificing it for mass inflation. They don't care about it. You need to be buying asset appreciating things in a dollar depreciating world, and that's what we do here. That's why you're here. Become members of Jabroni Killers. We're going to have a lot of exciting inside videos only for Jabroni Killer members on the keys and what to look for and how to buy asset appreciating things in a dollar depreciating world, and how I know the next 10 years and 20 years the dollar will continue to be sacrificed in the eyes and for inflation, and how and what the assets are that appreciate when the dollar goes down. Foreign stocks, gold and silver, real estate, crypto, all different forms of things you can own to try to mitigate the effects of the dollar being sacrificed if you are here in the United States. And we're going to be doing a couple of videos per week dedicated to that, and it's only going to be specifically for members only. Get on board, get excited about it. It's going to be fun. Peace and love. Jay.